Welcome back, Leo Lions. This is Mrs. Morgan with today's lesson over integers and the opposites of integers. So we first have a few definitions that we need to write down, and then we're going to do some examples of where are we going to see integers in the real world. So the definition for an integer is simply positive and negative whole numbers. So positive numbers, negative numbers, and then it must be a whole number. No decimals, no fractions. A nice even whole number. Okay, so let's write down some examples on this second line in our definition. Positive, negative whole numbers. So pick a whole number, let's say 4, and then the opposite of that would be negative. So negative 4 is an integer. Negative 3, negative 2. Now, something like negative 1/2 is not going to work because it's a fraction. It's not a whole number. 0 does also count as an integer, and then all the whole numbers, positive whole numbers as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. This list is infinite. It goes on and on forever. Every whole number, positive and negative. Okay? So, opposites are two numbers that are the same distance from 0 on a number line. So two numbers that are the same distance from 0. And I already gave you an example, something like 4 is 4 places from 0 on the number line, and so negative 4 is also 4 places from 0. So something like negative 4 and 4. Opposites, we could go even larger than that. So let's say negative 25, the opposite of that. So that's 25 away from 0, so the opposite would be positive 25. So opposites are the same number, it's just the positive or negative version. Okay, last definition is absolute value. So this is a number's distance from 0 on the number line. And we talked about this when we did order of operation. And we had those straight bars in our notes. So a number's distance from 0 on a number line. So the absolute value of opposite numbers has to be the same. So let's look at an example like negative 4. If we have these straight vertical bars, those are absolute value. So how far away is negative 4 from 0 on the number line? Well, it is 4 places away. Okay, we could do the same thing with the positive of that. So the absolute value of 4, how far away is that number from 0? Well, it is also 4. I'm going to put in a little star here, a helpful hint. Absolute value is always positive. A common error I see is students think it's just the opposite. That's not true. Absolute value is always how far away is that number from 0. So absolute value is always positive unless there is a negative sign in front of the absolute value bars. So it's always positive unless there's a negative in front of the absolute value bars. And I'm going to shorten up absolute value bars. Okay, let's keep going then. We have a number line that we're going to write out here. I have a big long empty line. So let's fill this in. First of all, I'm going to put arrows on the end here to show that this is a number line and it's going to continue in both directions forever and ever. And we're going to just simply show some of our smaller positive and negative whole numbers. So first of all, right in the middle, hopefully we know a number line, we have 0. In the middle, to the right of 0 are all of our positive numbers. So let's make some lines and fill in our numbers on our number line. So 1, 2, 3, everything to the right of 0, those are our positive integers. Okay, then we can go the other direction. To the left of 0 is all of our negative values. And as you create this number line, make sure you fill in your numbers. Okay, I want to then make sure we label and say these are all of our positive integers. And then everything to the left, these are our negative integers. Okay, now, next I have some real life situations, and then we're going to decide, is that a positive integer, is that a negative integer? And I guess I went to 7 on my number line, so I'm going to go 7 this way as well. Okay, so let's look at some situations. So if we have 9 degrees below 0, below would be our key, our hint that would be below 0, so it would be left of 0, or if we're thinking about a thermometer, it'd be below 0, so that'd be a -9. Next one, a growth of 2 inches, so if you're growing, that would be an increase, that would be going up, so that would be a +2. We don't have to write that plus sign in front of a 2. We know if a number doesn't have a sign in front of it, then it is positive. Okay, growth is telling us that it's going up. A loss, number 3, a loss of 4 yards. So that means we're going backwards. A loss means a negative. Okay. A deposit. Deposit, here's our hint, our helpful word. Think about if you deposit money into the bank. What are you doing? Deposit means that you are putting money in there. So that means you're gaining that money. So $400, that would be a positive integer. Okay, and I'm going to put down here that we're gaining that money. That's what we're earning. Okay, what I'd like you to do is pause the video here and see if you could figure out 5 through 8 and write a positive or a negative number for those. And then when you're done, you can play the video and see if you have them correct. Okay. Withdrawal, again, deposit we talked about is money putting into the bank. So if you're withdrawing money, that means you are taking out. So that would be represented by a negative value. So -60. Okay, 3 steps backwards. So if we're going backwards, that's a key sign that it's a negative. Okay, 625 feet below, again, that keyword below, so that's -625. And then 2,000 feet above, so above is a positive integer, okay? Now, after that, if you may be asked, hey, what's, 9 degrees below 0, and then what's the opposite of that? So the opposite of -9 would be 9. Okay, the opposite of 2 would be -2, and so on. So you may be asked to describe a situation